everyone. It's Travis from 2219. Just want to apologize for the audio quality in the following video. Hopefully have it fixed in the next video. Thanks. And again, I apologize.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the COVID conversation. Thanks to the title idea from Cam, so we've upgraded the name a little bit. Today is Thursday, April 16th, 2020. Today is also day 107 since the initial report of an outbreak in China was reported. And just to run through a couple of numbers, worldwide cases as of this morning was 2,078,000 plus cases worldwide with 138,000 deaths. I won't go through all the numbers, but more for record spec. And then to bring it down to home numbers, as of this morning, Hamilton was reporting 276 cases in 10 deaths in the Hamilton region. This morning, my guest this morning is a Dundas local, resides and entrepreneur, Dave. And I'm going to switch windows here and bring up Dave. Dave, if you would introduce yourself for everyone, please.
Hi, Travis. Yeah, thanks for having me. My name's Dave Macuilis. I'm a Dundas local, born and raised. Parents moved here in the Pleasant Valley back in '69 when I was born, and love Dundas and have a few businesses. I guess I consider myself a bit of an ADHD serial entrepreneur, but pretty much with marketing. I've done Eat Here, Live, Eat, Shop Dundas, just a little local publication for travel tourism. Have a landscape design build company, which right now is temporarily on hold, but been operating that for 30 years. And also I invested in the Red Door Kachina. I own that, but it's run by a fabulous team headed by Jackie Westerby. And I find myself to keep busy. I'm the pizza delivery boy in Dundas because I've pretty much offered myself to delivery for free during this tough time that we're having with the COVID virus running around. But I pretty much stay at home, and if I get called out to do a delivery, it's just pretty much a porch knock and drop, or just pretty much leave it on the front porch. So I'm not really seeing people, but I am happy to help the community.
Yeah. And I was thinking earlier when I was wondering what I was going to bring up talking with you, and that's how we met, was through the Red Door. If I remember correctly, your son Tyler had started it, taken it over, and there was an article in the newspaper. I thought it was really cool that someone his age. How old was he at the time again? Was he 19?
He was 19 at the time. Very inspired to roll dough for the previous owner. And when he told me that he was very passionate about making pizza, I thought, wow, my 19-year-old just used the word passion, like something that really inspired him. So it inspired me that when the former owner was selling, Tyler asked if he could borrow the money. But I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll buy it. I don't know anything really about rolling pizza, but I do love outdoor cooking. When I was building and designing, I was always a bit of a foodie. And so as we launched with Tyler kind of spearheading things at that time, I just found myself getting immersed into the marketing side of it and promoting side of it and building up a bit of a catering part of the business. And Tyler was running that until he decided he found the food business very, very tough. And he was always a hands-on guy, so then he wanted to get into construction. So he kind of stepped out. We had a manager step in, and Jackie Westerby is spearheading the Red Door Kachina for me now very successfully. And we're just love making food for the town of Dundas.
Nice. And that's how I got to meet you, was I was impressed by the article and Tyler starting it, so I wanted to photograph him and take some photos and stuff, which led to meeting you, because some weirdo wanted to take pictures of your kid in his restaurant, so we met and had like an interview sort of thing, and that's how our relationship started, and it's kind of branched off with the Here Dundas and a couple other things, so. And then obviously
thanks to doing photography that helped launch things. I mean, there are some epic photographs that you'd taken while we were partnering. And I say that in a service sense, we're providing our services through the brewing company, local brewing company. You came and took some epic pictures of Tyler in action, and as we started posting those, it gained a lot of attention. And cheers to your photography skills that really kind of helped us along in the menu that you took food photographs. So yeah,
thank you. So you've kind of touched on it a bit, how the COVID-19 has affected your life a little bit. You said the landscape business is shut down, the advertising business is basically shut down. And that was, did it slow down? Like for me, I was working for Matt Hayes at the detailing place, car detailing, and we had our last 2 cars the day before the government shut us down, but the phone had already stopped ringing for us.
Yeah, for us, well, let's say with the marketing side of the business, as you know, we were publishing Eat Here, Live Shop Dundas. And normally in February, March, there's a lot of the renewals that happen with a lot of the service businesses. Most of them are in the food business. But what was happening was I didn't even think to even approach anybody because I was watching how it was affecting our community on a small scale before just paying attention to the news and realizing that there's a possibility that things might really develop differently. So I kind of stepped back for a bit and waited to see what was happening. And as soon as the government announced that they were, closing non-essential businesses, I basically formulated an email to all the advertisers and said, listen, we're going to just put this publication, the spring publication, on hold to see what's happening right now. And hopefully we can have our sights on the fall issue. I don't know about that, but I just kind of stepped back and didn't really think about travel tourism at the moment. I was thinking about how it's affecting my primary business, which as a landscape contractor design, I'm a certified designer and love building, working with my hands, been doing that for 30 years. When I got the announcement from the government that we were considered non-essential, and literally in the middle of doing 3 residential jobs in Dundas, realizing that my financial pipeline is going to be cut off, I had to also think about what was going to happen with the other business being the Red Door, but that was considered essential.
Yeah.
So at this point, even though I don't get paid by that company, I want to make sure that it's thriving. So I've taken some stance to help with marketing, help with being a free delivery boy. So yeah, my construction I'm not doing anything. So while I'm at home, I have the ability to stay physically fit. I like working out. So I kind of spend about an hour each day doing something to keep my body in tune. Out there doing some gardening.
Yeah. So the workouts, I was doing great the first week doing workouts inside, and then I fell off the wagon for motivation, and then it was hard to get back into it. How have you found your motivation for slugging away, working out and stuff?
Well, I guess I've always been a glutton for punishment. I love that sore feeling that you get the next day. And so for me, it was always about, because I was in construction, I was always staying physically fit. But what I've just really done is I sleep well, I eat well, and dedicate myself to at least 4 to 5 times out of the 7 days to do something. It might alternate. I might do my legs, I'll do my chest or arms, and I'm not out to get big. I just want to stay lean and fit.
Yeah.
And I feel the motivation is just saying, hey, I'm getting healthy, and it's something that I'm able to do every day, and I continue to do so. But while I'm also feeling a little bit of a busybody, and I do like getting out, when I get a call from the Red Door about doing a delivery, I pretty much jump to my car, but I go with mask and rubber gloves, and I go and I pick up the food order, and then literally we basically tell the customers within the residents of Dundas is that Dave is coming by to do a knock and drop. So I basically knock or ring the doorbell, leave the food on the front porch, and as I enter into my car, they're usually opening up the door saying thank you, and it's nice to see a smile on somebody's face. And And, a lot of people that still do require food, but maybe, the delivery fees or fees that are through some of the app deliveries people are paying for, I'm doing it for free, a bit of a pay it forward, because I'm so thankful that the entire staff at Red Door is able to stay employed. In fact, we just had a new hire, one of Jackie's relatives. We were able to hire her on as as many hours as she wants. So her sister-in-law Julie is now working for us, and so Jackie and Adrian and Julie now. So I didn't have to lay anybody off, but
Nice.
I do enjoy getting out there. And now we just because we are a few left open for food business. I'm thankful that our sales have gone up, but also the phone's gotten busy. So I've done custom online ordering while I'm sitting at home. I found an app that allows me to do things for free. So I was able to launch an online ordering system so that people weren't frustrated answering the phone or trying to get through to us on the phone.
Right.
So I find myself to be keeping busy doing something for a business. And then as we're also hearing some people that are having some issues with some food insecurities.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah. Because for me, so Susan went through cancer and current drugs. She's immune compromised. Then there's also the fact that she's now, her sister works at the hospital, so her sister has cut off her contact with their parents because she's potentially too high risk. Even though she's segregated, she's in IT, she's not frontline or anything like that, but she's still at the hospital. So she's not going. So Susan's going to take care of her parents, and her dad just turned 92 here on the weekend and stuff. So she's going there. So part of my paranoia with just don't know is since this started, we haven't ordered in any takeout food. I go to the store, I bring it all home. I have a little setup on the table, I'll segregate it, I bleach, wash with soap and water, absolutely everything that comes in the door from the grocery store. So I've been craving a pizza, but at the same time, I'm a little paranoid about.
Yeah.
Should I chance it? So
I'll give you some assurances because Jackie and Adrian and Julie are all from households that are also practicing self-isolation. They are not socially going out. They're staying at home. So it's like home, Red Door, home. And we've taken precautions in which every day Jackie pretty much bleaches all the surfaces. We have Lysol wipes at every station. We have rubber gloves, masks. So when somebody comes for a pickup order, we don't allow them, no drivers from app delivery and no customers are allowed to enter our facility. So what happens with either myself wearing rubber gloves and a mask, I bring the food out to a person's car window. They take it, they say bye-bye, and that's it. So we don't accept cash.
yeah.
There's no exchange of cash. It's all either e-transfer or Visa. And as the staff are working around food, wearing masks, and constantly cleaning, I think we have a pretty tight environment, keeping it safe for all our customers. So we've had some frustrated customers that want to come in and order or pay cash, and I just say, I'm sorry. And we had a couple of people, loyal customers, at first take the approach where they were frustrated and said, oh, I'm not coming if you won't let me pay cash, or I can't come see the menu. And then about maybe 4 or 5 days later, they phoned and apologized and said, oh, I understand why you're doing this, and I'm sorry that I was frustrated. Now they're ordering online. Now some of them are sending e-transfers in advance saying, oh, here's my order and what I want, because they now respect that we're trying to maintain a tight, safe environment for the community. And
And there's also the fact that everyone has gone to the same basic model. It's hard to find a place that may take cash, and there's no place you can go in now for the most part, as far as I know.
Yeah. And one of our food suppliers, so Fid's Wholesale, is one of for all our produce. We love fresh produce. I sometimes have to go there to pick up orders, 3 times a week. And they've really got a tight seal on how they provide the food. I see one of the staff members that are outside with cardboard boxes as people are doing curbside pickup.
Yeah, I did that last week.
they're wearing rubber gloves, wearing masks. If you do enter the facility, let's say you want to pay with a credit card, Lysol wipes, rubber gloves, Purell, everything is there. But they've been a great support for us. In fact, we even approached them because we realized that there are some people developing some food insecurities that we're going to try to, well, not try, we actually are going to produce hopefully about 20 to 30 free meals that will go to people that can't buy food. FIDS was one of the biggest sponsors to donate close to 300 pounds of produce, which I go pick up on Monday.
Nice.
Jackie is going to start a menu right now with vegetables. We are going to be looking for a protein sponsor, maybe some chicken or beef. But right now, if we can get sponsors to give us the food, Jackie and the team are on board to, on the days that we're closed, to come in and produce the meals. And we do have one contact in downtown Hamilton at the Urban Core Center that some homeless people that come there. But it's not just for homeless people that don't have food. It's for anybody that is right now being drastically affected within our own community, that if they call in to say, listen, I haven't gotten any financial support from the government, or, we're both laid off and we're waiting for our EI to come in and we're kind of low on funds, that they can call in and we can supply meals.
Nice. That's good.
And I mean, I don't know if I can feed the entire town of Dundas, but I'm going to do what I can to make a difference because I'm thankful that my team is still being able to work. So I want to contribute something, pay it forward back to my community that has been supporting me all these years in business.
Nice. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I mean, I couldn't do it without the support of our suppliers, and FIDS Wholesale. Steve at FIDS was the first one to step up and say, Dave, absolutely. And he was 50 pounds of potatoes and 50 pounds of onions and 50 pounds of cabbage. And he says, come on Monday, I'll load up your car. We're gonna start getting at it. So yeah, that's just sort of the first thing that started this. I kind of got inspired by the Feed It Forward gentleman, Jagger Gordon, out in Toronto. He's doing that as well. And somebody I know, and I called and said, he gave me a few tips. And so, I just want to see how I can help our community to make a difference.
That's cool. We'll maybe plan to touch base with you, depending on how long we're in isolation, in a month or two, and see what's new and changed. The FIDS, I was quite impressed. We did that. They posted on Facebook that if you call, you can get a box of fresh vegetables for $40, and it was so good, easy. Susan called. I went on the designated time and day. I pulled up. The guy kind of looked at me in my car, and he's like, "You here for a pickup?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's okay. And I hit the remote button for the trunk. The trunk went up. He put the box in. He held his debit machine through the window. I tapped it with my card. It was done. It took longer to drive up there to Dundas than it did to do the whole transaction, and the quality of the produce was amazing. So I was very happy with that. So I guess I'll have to call today if I want some for tomorrow. That was perfect. So we kind of talked about the work aspect. At home, you talk about working out and stuff. How are you making it cooped up in the house? I guess you get a little more than I do, but.
Well, it's funny because being so, and I consider myself a ADHD 51-year-old man, but I keep busy. But I've been doing things like I had a pruning saw that I had 25 years ago purchased because I was tree climbing in my early 20s. And it was kind of nostalgic to always hang on to this pruning saw. And it was rusty, one of those things that you look at and say, oh, okay, am I going to purge and throw it out? No, I just sat there and I hand sharpened each tooth.
Nice.
41 teeth, 2 sides, and it works good as new. So I'm keeping busy, like fixing things. My wife wanted me to find a place to put the cast iron pan. So she found on Pinterest a little project to put up a panel board and black pipes to hang some cast iron pans. So
I saw that. Yeah, that looked good.
I'm building that and also love gardening. There's ever since I turned 50, I've had a little bit of issues with some arthritis. I'm not really one to go to the pharmaceuticals, but There's cannabis plants that are high content CBD. So I'm germinating some cannabis plants because we're allowed to now. So I'm in the process of germinating plants and growing avocado seeds. And
Nice.
Lori and I take an opportunity to do some little project around the house to improve our indoor and outdoor living lifestyle. So, chopping firewood for her little steel chimney, and barbecuing and grilling food in advance for the family. The kids are getting a little wiry. One of my children has been practicing self-isolation probably for about 15 years. And he's about 21, and so this is the norm for him. But the other son is really bouncing off walls. He's been in the rebar union for a couple of years now, and he just got laid off, and he's kind of busting side to side in the walls, wants to go out, but we tell him, listen, like there's Lori's frontline working with drug addiction and health downtown Hamilton, so we can't see her health get compromised. So we're really putting a tight ball and chain on the going out of the house. So we do the best we can with that. So even our dog, we might take him for a little walk around the subdivision, but we can't go to the dog park, can't go to trails.
We've done the same. I'm not sure if George has gone outside since the end of March break. Just because, we're in an apartment building, so she had friends down the hall. It's like, nope, can't. And a couple people here, they've actually removed their kids from the building and put them with other relatives, so they were concerned that with the density of people in the building, that might be an issue. Now we're lucky; we're right on the corner by an exit, so we kind of have our own exit kind of thing. Which is handy, but I've asked Susan, I said, don't go through the main door anymore. Don't let people talk to dogs. Because everyone in this building, the reason we're in this building is everyone has a dog, which was hard to find an apartment with dogs that were allowed.
Dog access, yeah. Well, I find that Lori even, she's gone back to a lot of roots on her passion for baking. So whether it's cookies and bread, and so what I'm really finding on a positive note, and I know it might seem a little contradiction. There's a pandemic and there's a lot of fear, but this COVID-19 has really given us an opportunity to focus on family. Mm-hmm. We're cooking meals together. We're keeping conservatively on our finances. We used to go and eat a lot, local restaurants, like Thirsty Cactus and the Tula and the Collins and the Winchester. We had our nights of wing night, steak night, fajita night. And now we're doing this all at home. We're basically going to a lineup at the local Dundas Metro, buy our groceries. But now we're planning ahead to say, okay, I don't want to come back here 2 days from now. I want to get a week's worth of supply, and then we make a week's worth of meals, and we even have the kids cooking. So, we all rotate. Lori will take one night to cook something. I'll grill something. Isaac might make chicken fajitas, and Connor might make pasta. So everybody's participating together in the household. We're staying close to home, and I'm really seeing a little bit more union. And it's funny to say, it's sad to say that it wasn't there before. I mean, I was busy, Lori was busy, the kids had their own social lifestyles, and now we're finding that there's a little bit more in family nucleus that is thriving, and it took a pandemic to open our eyes to that. So,
but at least you're not killing each other.
No, not yet. Not yet. I think Lori's had enough though of being quarantined. She's kind of hoping she can go back to her girl garage nights that she used to love to do.
Right.
She used to be girlfriends, but they used to get together and take turns in each other's garage. But we can't do that. We're doing Zoom. So one of the things so Lori has a friend in Sudbury, and then one in St. Catharines, one in Jarvis, and one in Hamilton, and they actually use FaceTime or Zoom to have their own girl garage nights individually, isolated in their own garages. They're all, smoking cigarettes and drinking white wine kind of group, and they can't do it together anymore, but they're using Zoom. Me and my business partners, even though we're not actually working in construction, once a week, actually, I think it's going to be tonight, Thursday nights, we get on Zoom and we talk about proactively what can we do to kind of keep the momentum going, even though we're not bringing in income. So we're thinking about starting a garden education podcast with all the horticultural knowledge, construction knowledge, and arboriculture knowledge. We've just recently discussed on how we should maybe just offer some advice to the homeowners out there. I do that through my justaskdave.ca. I have a social media line, and people are actually asking me about, how to start off some plants, how to germinate vegetables, what are some of the best selections to consider for sustainability at home, like root vegetables, stuff that you'll grow now that you can harvest and then have for long durations of time, or be able to pickle or keep in a fruit cellar. So there's so many things that this COVID-19 is really helping us open our eyes to other possibilities rather than looking at it as an imprisonment.
Yeah, well, when you can't sit still, you find things to do, right? So
yeah.
So you can only, I know, I've like I said, I was going through a funk. It was like TV and video games all day. It's like, oh, I can't be bothered, and anyway, it comes and goes for me. It's up with the ups and downs. And so the wife, how's she making out with all this? You said she's...
Well, yeah, every day that she does have to go, she's pretty much in a hazmat suit at one of the locations there. It's one of the, for mental health and injection sites. And so basically she's suited up, and that's still an essential service, mental health and drug addiction. So Lori has been going every day, but, her daily routine is she comes home, and I leave a bag for her at the front door where she basically disrobes, puts everything in a sealed plastic bag, immediately hits the shower, and then back to bed. She's doing sometimes 12 hours back to back, and her daily routine is go help our community with the addictions, come home, sleep, repeat. But on her days off, she's either baking or cooking or doing something of crafts, arts and crafts, to keep her mind busy. And same with me.
Yeah. Now, has she noticed on the addiction side of things? Has she noticed, because we're all cooped up, and I would assume if you have an addiction, being trapped in your house would lead to that becoming worse.
Well, I guess the government still deems, some of the services out there, like alcohol and the cannabis stores that are allowed to still sell online. But I think a lot of the addictions of what I haven't seen or not really been exposed to is the opioids that are out there that have been really, or crystal meth, or some of the street drugs that I guess are still ongoing. Is there a rise in addiction? I don't know that answer.
Well, I wasn't thinking necessarily a rise in addiction, but a rise in people who have an addiction succumbing to the addiction that's trying not to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like
I don't know the answer to that. I noticed my lifestyle differently is that, as Lori and I would have our pub nights, the different places we would go, always, having a gin and tonic or a glass of wine. That's not happening as frequently because the bars are not available to us. It's a really good thought about how the closure on the bar scene or the public bars is that people reducing the amount of alcohol intake or addictive. There's food addiction, alcohol addiction, you name it. It's out there. Is it being reduced? I don't have a strong opinion. I would kind of think, just based on my lifestyle, there might be a reduction in many people's lives that don't have the accessibility to go to the bars as often. But then again, our wallets are getting very tightened. My salary that I used to draw from my construction company, even applying for the CHURB is really only 1/3 of what I was used to earning as income monthly. So I'm really tightening the wallet. So,
yeah, no one's handing you tips for delivering pizzas either.
Yeah. Going to the LCBO, I don't do as frequently because that's not essential for me to live.
No.
Eating healthy is. So, when I do go to Metro, I always make smart choices of stuff with a long shelf life or something that I can prepare immediately and see that my family can use. But, I think that maybe we'll see some stats when this is all over, what was the crime stats, what is the addiction stats, what are the
the obesity stats.
the obesity stats.
Yeah,
So
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough sitting at home. It's like I'm bored. That means I'm hungry. I go to the fridge, kind
well,
of
one thing I
thing.
have seen that I haven't seen, I don't know if this is an exaggeration, but my observation in my 30s, so 20 years ago or 21 years ago, what I didn't see a lot of was the amount of couples that are walking around together, neighbors that are one set of couples standing on the sidewalk, the other couples are standing on their front lawn or porch, and there's conversations. I'm driving around, delivering pizzas on a weekend, and I'm seeing more people outside having social distancing conversations, walking their dogs. I'm actually seeing another neighbor, that beanbag toss game called cornhole. I see, families on the front lawn, like things that I hadn't seen, in which there is more community interaction, but at a social distancing interaction, but people outdoors.
Yeah.
Walking the sidewalk, walking their dogs, playing a game on the front lawn. I haven't seen that before in a long, long time, and I see it around my subdivision. I live in the Watsons and Forest View area off of York, and I'm just seeing so much community interaction, but at a distance, and
Nice.
it's pleasant. It's really nice to see.
That's good.
Yeah.
I noticed. Yesterday and the day before, I was in the Dundas Driving Park because I live just above it, and it's still open. They've closed the roads though. Like my road where I am, they've actually put a road closed sign at the bottom. But yeah, this last week, the driving park, what seems to be a lot less people. And I think because they've closed it to cars, it's only the people that live within walking distance that now walk in the park.
Yeah.
Whereas 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, especially I think it's 3 weeks ago, the parking lot down the little strip was full of cars, and while people were dispersed, the parking lot was full. Now there's no cars and very few people, but there's a handful, all well spaced out and stuff. So, which is good. And the kids are doing well. You said one's doing okay. Hasn't come out of his room in a month, and the other one's going stir crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, trying to keep a handle on him. He likes to go out for walks, or he'll be calling a friend up that will drive curbside, and they'll have a chat on the front lawn, or But other than that, it's been really a huge impact for the family. Kind of feeling like you're in. They call it quarantine, but it's more like house arrest.
Yeah. And how old are your kids again that are home?
So the remaining kids here in this household, between Lori and I, we had 5 together. Her 2 and my 3. The older ones have moved out years ago, but so remaining is a 19-year-old Connor and a 21-year-old Isaac are the 2 kids remaining here in the household.
And I would think, I was trying to think back, if I was, what age would I be where this would just be unbearable to not be able to go outside? I think, look, my daughter's 11. She's coping very well. As long as she has her iPad or the TV, she's on YouTube watching stuff or whatever. She's doing well. Susan and I are both doing well. Susan's just over 50. I'm just under. But yeah, at what age is it? 14? Is it 19? At what age would this be just the most torturous thing ever to be in? And when I did aircraft accident investigations back when I was a flight instructor, we did some behavioral attitude assessments, and one of the attitudes that always or usually led to accidents was anti-authority and resignation, that it can't happen to me. And if those are your strong attitudes, that it's got to be really tough. It's like, oh, you can't tell me what to do, and oh, well, it won't happen to me. I won't get COVID-19, which I think is probably more prevalent in a younger person than an older person, but at the same time, not necessarily.
So. Yeah. Well, and I think it was an eye opener, and like I say, it wasn't so difficult for Isaac because Isaac does like to be in his room, and he's very versed in social media and gaming, so that's his lifestyle. But Connor, who is in the rebar union, still is in the rebar union, just not working, but he prolonged it because until they actually, said it's an option not having to work because of your safety. Connor was one of those guys that said he watched the crew that, maybe there were 30 guys showing up on a crew site tying rebar, and over the weeks the numbers started getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and when he was down to probably about 10 or 12 guys on his crew, he came to me and said, Dad, is this COVID like really, really that serious? Like I've watched, coming to a crew site of 30 guys down to 10 or 12 guys. And I said, Connor, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be out there. Like, you're putting yourself at risk, and you're putting me and Lori at risk, the rest of the family at risk. And so he made the decision, obviously, to, stand down. Boss was going to lay them off anyways, I guess, because everybody was looking at their health. But he was the last one to kind of deciding to stay in for self-quarantine and did so. And, he finds ways to keep busy. I do keep the boys busy. I had like yard work, so some little trees that we had to take down because they were congesting other trees. I basically put the axe and chainsaw in their hands, taught them how to do it, and they were out there. The two boys came out on the weekend, and they basically, made a cord of firewood for me. But that was to keep them busy. We have these greenhouse bubbles kits.
Yeah.
I was out there putting it all together. Isaac came out later to help. It's finding stuff around the house that helps improve our lifestyle and makes things a little more sustainable. They're starting to get it. They're starting to participate. So it's getting their mind off of, I can't go out and see my friends, go to a movie night, can't go to the gym, can't go to the bar, can't go see the girlfriend. They're using their iPhones or Xboxes to have communication with their friends.
Yeah.
So they're adjusting. It's a slow adjustment, but it's been working.
Yeah. And you were talking about him being at work, asking, should he be worried? And I know, my job, it's the owner, one other guy, and myself. The one other guy was in school. Classes were canceled first before businesses were closed. And yeah, we were starting to get pretty paranoid about the whole thing in general, because every time our phones a new news alert would come up, which seemed to be every 20 minutes, we were like, we'd all stop working and look at the latest news, the latest numbers. We'd talk about how scary the numbers were. And then I know for myself, I started getting a little paranoid about, well, you don't know if you have symptoms, and people are bringing in their cars, and then I'm climbing into your car, and by the time I'm done, it's disinfected. Because we clean the entire inside. At the same time, I'm climbing into your car that you've probably hacked and coughed into on your way over. So I was getting a little paranoid about that, and I'm kind of glad that things shut down when they did. I'm lucky the government thing was applicable to me and kicked in, and it was very painless to do and easy to apply for and quick to get the money. Frontline workers, I don't know how they do it, so I'm thankful they do it, because I would be like,
we're scared doing it. Lori admits that she's scared doing that. Her sister is a paramedic. I put a posting on Facebook saying that, hey, thanks to these two ladies that are out there doing frontline work, and even her sister is like, I'm doing it. She's out there supporting the community, but she's scared.
Yeah,
she's scared in it. But so there's a lot of appreciation I do have for our frontline workers that are continuing themselves at risk. Government should be talking up some hazard pay for those people out there.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't. What I'm about to say, I don't mean to diminish anyone's efforts or anything, but if you were a paramedic or a healthcare professional, to me, before COVID-19, there was always a certain amount of risk associated with being in your profession through other diseases and patients reacting funnily to medications or whatever their injuries. And I appreciate what they do, but at the same time, it's people like the grocery store clerk who brings in my groceries that's there front and center, and it's like, what did I sign up for? I'm getting minimal wage. Not to say that healthcare professionals get more. They may know. I don't know. But I'm working at the grocery store, and I'm exposed to everything. I was glad to see the Metro and the Fortino's local put up the screens and change some of the procedures and stuff. But I would be really scared if I was one of those people.
Yeah.
Right there, front and center all day long, and I don't know, no choice. Like, what do? You can't quit your job necessarily. So
no. So cheers to all the frontline workers.
Yeah, totally.
Out there.
Totally. A couple more questions for you. What? So I'll ask as a two-part question. What do you miss the most? And when I ask that, what have you discovered you maybe took for granted before that you'd really like to have now that you can't?
Well, I think it's the time that I've had for my own health. I mean, I've always tried to, practice a healthy lifestyle when I was busily working and, being involved in my primary business and dabbling with the other two businesses kind of in a social media support way. I've always been a social person. So Lori and I had our routine where we'd go visit the local food businesses and sit down and have a drink. And I guess I kind of miss the bartenders. We've had some great friendships with, Jen or Janice down at the Winchester Arms, or, Ronnie and Kathy down at Thirsty Cactus, and Mike and his team at Petula. Always love to sit and have a conversation with some of the owners, Art and Jamie and their crew down at the Collins. Like that was kind of like my social time, going and talking to the people that ran those places, had meaningful conversation. It wasn't just about sitting at the bar drinking, but you're having some conversations, conversations about politics, conversations about family, conversations, just interactions that you have with all these people that work at all the food service businesses was something kind of a regular routine for me and Lori, and we miss that. Lori would always be saying that the best whiskey sour in all of Dundas was made at the Winchester by Jen. And she misses those times where she would come down and have one of those whiskey sours. But again, it was about community and interaction and socializing. So that was kind of one thing that we're kind of missed. But being at home and spending more time with ourselves, making our meals, having conversations with the kids a little bit more in depth. Those are some of the things that, I wasn't making myself available, being so busy with the businesses, that I think there are many years that I've missed in the growing pains of all the children that have been living in our household, that it's taken an opportunity to say, wow, there's more reflection on day to day.
Yeah,
there's more conversation that I'm having with, Connor and Isaac that I hadn't had before, being the remaining two. I even now take more time to phone and interact with my mom and dad. My mom would be like, you don't call me in the middle of the week. Now I'm talking to my mom and dad probably about 3 or 4 times this week. My daughter Jessica and Lori's talking, and we're talking with the kids down in New Zealand. Her daughter has birthed us some grandchildren and son-in-law. So there's a lot more interaction, I would say, with people that we hadn't had time to do because we were so busy working.
Yeah, we've reached out with a few more people. You just brought up, I forgot to ask earlier, you mentioned your parents. How old are your parents, and how are they coping with
they're in their
all
80s.
this?
I haven't seen them in, I guess, since March 15th was the last time I saw them. So just before they started talking about COVID-19 I was actually I actually brought my parents a pizza.
Yeah.
And because my dad loves to order either a tutti carne or a Vesuvio, and I think that was the last time I had a chance to have a conversation with him face to face. And so now it's just by phone. And so, yeah, I guess that's been, we're approaching over a month now.
Now, are they on their own in their own house, or what's their residence like?
Yeah, they're by themselves in Pleasant Valley. They live by themselves. They're healthy, but yeah, Dad goes out only when they need to.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up some groceries, but they are 80 plus and don't want to compromise their health by catching this COVID. So
Yeah,
apparently,
and they're I've heard, so like my father-in-law, has dementia, so he doesn't really know what's going on. But other
Mhm.
parents, it's like, it just, I don't want to say oblivious, that's not the right word, but more not really cognitive of what they should be doing and not fully understanding. They're obviously aware of what's going on and paranoid and stuff and limiting what they
Yeah.
do. And
Well,
yeah,
my dad's taken it very seriously. Being a man of science, he was a chemistry teacher in the Hamilton Board of Education for many, many years. When he retired, he's always kept in tune to what's going on in the world, and he was one that really educated me on how serious this COVID is. I guess apparently the surfactant layer in our lungs, it attacks that, so it basically disables the ability to take in oxygen or air. And then osmosis brings the oxygen into your blood. He says that whole membrane layer, and it says, gets shut down. So it's so serious. So actually it was that bit of education that I gave my 19-year-old. I think it was about 2 or 3 days later, he thought, yeah, I'm gonna stop working out in the field there, because he realizes how serious it can be. So. And they say it doesn't attack the young as often, but you've heard of some deaths of a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old in London, Ontario. It was. I don't know if I have that correct on the age, but and again, so whether you're in your teenage years or in your 80s, I think it can affect everybody.
Yeah, I have the stats here from, I'm pretty sure this is Hamilton stats. There were percentages by age groups. And I took the two younger groups and combined them from infant to age 19, 3% have it. And then the largest one was, again, two groups, but I combined it. Age 20 to 64 was 69%. Of cases, and then 65 to 79 was 16%, and then 80 plus was 11%. So 19 and under, obviously minor, but at the same time not immune to it. So it's still a risk.
Yeah.
And what are we at? 40, almost 50 minutes. So one last question, or last two questions. Predictions? When are we getting out of the house? Any ideas? What do you think?
It's interesting. I'm following the contracting world right now. There's, I guess they're basically saying that, push it into the end of May. Now, that's the hopefulness of the contracting industry that I'm in. There's Landscape Ontario kind of puts out, every other day they're saying something different. I guess it's really about making sure that the once they say that, oh yeah, we've got a cure, because I don't know if they've isolated this virus to develop the cure yet. I'm going to predict that probably this will be going on into the summer. Like, maybe Canada Day, we can all celebrate together in public places.
That's what I'm hoping for. Or even it'd be nice to be able to. I think it was Bill Gates. I'm a fan of Bill Gates, so I'm biased to the things he says. I think he's a smart man and he's well versed and educated, especially in pandemic type stuff. And he's like, when we open up, if we do it right, we should be able to do minor social gatherings. So you'll be able to, or should be able to, see your friends. Maybe go to a restaurant, but larger scale things like concerts and sporting events should be totally forbidden, because just too many people coming in that still may have the virus to spread it. And then the minor get-togethers are still precedented on, you've been tested, you show negative, the friend you're going to see has been tested, they show negative, and we're pretty sure we're not going to get or pass it along, kind of thing. So hopeful. July 1st would be nice if we could have a little bit of a party, or July 4th, depending on what side of the border you're on. But
that's right.
Here's
Well,
hoping.
and I guess it all depends on the developments of our healthcare system and the health Ministry of Health, and if they say, yeah, we've got something that can combat and fight COVID-19 successfully, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't lift the bans. But right now, because they're working on it, trying to understand its complexity, I guess it's a virus that can mutate, which makes life a little scary. I guess the thing for me right now is just staying healthy and staying safe and helping my community. I'm kind of happy, actually. I mean, I know it might be a little contradicting, but I do miss being out there, and especially with these homeowners who, we were in the midst of pool restorations, so we have backyards that are ripped up and pools that can't be used, and and we keep in touch with our customers, and they say, Dave, we totally understand. We're not, we are a bit sad that we're looking at our backyard and it's upheaved and we can't be out there. But we totally understand about safety, so that puts me at peace of mind. But I'm in no rush to get out there and finish everything unless it's, the government saying that it's 100% safe too. We did put our own company policy in place, which we just sent off. One of my business partners sent off an email to our MPP and said, if there is some lifting of this, the practices that we rewrote a company policy in which no more than 3 employees would be at a job site, all taking separate vehicles. We would finance and supply all the gloves, masks, Purell, Lysol wipes, and maintain social distancing. With landscaping, you can maintain 2 to 3 meters, especially if one is in one machine, another is in another machine, and another one's running a wheelbarrow. So we had actually developed a policy and a practice of creating a safe work environment, even renting portable bathrooms with hand wash stations that would be brought to job sites for the resident. Because, a lot of times our guys would be like, oh, I'm good to hold it until 10 o'clock and I'll run to a Tim Hortons, get the guys coffee and use the bathroom. Well, that can't happen anymore. So we are prepared. So if the government did say, yeah, go ahead and go back to work, we are still going to enforce that policy among our crews to, at the short term, take separate vehicles, or one would take a work truck with all the tools and the other 2 would take their own personal vehicles and get paid mileage. So these are the things that we're prepared to do, and are safely able to continue working once the ban is lifted.
Yeah, so for you, it's just a matter of being allowed to go back to work, because you could do it and still maintain the status quo.
Yeah.
Right, that's good.
So, and in the meantime, I'm just going to be, making homemade foods and keeping the boys busy and keeping myself fit as a fiddle as I can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anything, do you think, a little bit of future foretelling, anything we're doing now, do you think will carry through? Rob and Cam and I were talking about things like the handshake. I decided to stop shaking hands. I'm a little paranoid. Maybe I'll never shake anyone's hand again. We'll see. But anything that we're doing now, do you think will carry through post-pandemic?
Well, it's interesting because I think before the pandemic, pre-pandemic, people were doing the fist pump. They were just knocking their fist because even before COVID, even before the COVID came, there were people that were saying, when you cough in your hands. I mean, when you're in the food handling business, if I did, visit the Kachina. Actually, there's really no high-fiving or handshaking in the Kachina among the employees. But even with my day-to-day routine, a lot of other subcontractors or other subcontractors, employees that would come and work at our job sites, we're either wearing work clothes, but a lot of people just fist pump, especially when it was just regular cold season. Yeah. So, now there's the foot tap, or elbow bump. I think that's going to continue. I think there's a lot of people that continue that because it's just taking care of yourselves, and again, it's another precaution. But I think the elbow bump and the fist pump and maybe the foot tap is going to be something that we'll keep on doing.
Do you think we'll go evolve out of this and being slightly more paranoid of too close an interaction with other people? You know what I'm trying to say? Like shaking hands.
There's going to be a bit of keeping that enforced. I mean, I'll tell you right now, as much as I love, talking with my bank teller or the cashier at Metro, I think it's a fabulous idea that they've put up those plexiglass shields. I mean, they're not for, security theft measures. It's more for, the transference of viral bacteria passing in the air. I think that's something that should be maintained.
I would agree. Yeah.
I think the banks and the grocery store should maintain that after all this is done. I mean, they've made the investment to do so, but I think it's wise. I think we're going to see a lot more electronic transfer of funds, debit taps or credit cards, and you're going to see less and less cash being used. And I think it's going to be a positive note on that. And I think there's going to be a lot of things that will carry on through just because it makes common sense.
Yeah.
And it's really not inhibiting us to be social. I mean, next to, I'm kind of a social, huggy kind of guy. So at my yoga studio, or I say my yoga studio, but at Dundas Yoga and Fitness, Antoinette and her team, after, maybe we see each other in passing, or give each other a hug, or, that is something that I kind of miss that hasn't happened in a while. But, even when I do yoga, which I try to maintain twice a week, it was a routine I had with Dundas Hot Yoga. They're offering it through Zoom. So
yeah, I think I've seen that on. I follow them on Facebook. I see they post when their classes are and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think hugs will come back, but handshakes, especially with people in passing, are going to be just more of the elbow tap and fist bump.
Yeah, which is a little weird for me because I was always raised and taught. You look the person in the eye, you shook their hand nice and firm. A quote gentleman's handshake, and I was always taught that that's how you greet it. That was respect. But now it's like, nah, I don't think I need to. I think Howie Mandel has it right. I don't need to touch you. Unless we're great friends, and then we hug. So, and then it's
Sure.
I'll share whatever I have with you, regardless. So,
yeah.
Cool. Well, Dave, an hour there. I appreciate your time. We'll wrap it up.
Well, thanks for having me, Travis. I appreciate it. It's been great to interact and have a conversation with you. I know we've tried a few times to have, before this pandemic, we tried to get together for coffees, and this has been a great way to connect with you.
Well, I've got you tied down. You can't leave the house, so it's easier to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
But we'll do coffees and beers and pizzas here in the near future when we're let outside.
Sure. Well, if you ever need a door knock and drop of a delivery, rest assured you'll be delivered some healthy food.
Cool. We are kind of craving pizzas, and our other, besides our paranoia, our other hesitation, as Susan and I, year and a half now, we've both gone vegan. So and then I'm lactose, so cheese is an issue, but the craving started to speak for itself.
Cheese is probably one of the best options. We have a lot of vegans that have called in, and they I think the most popular one, because it's a 00 flour, but it's all fresh produce vegetables from Fids, no cheese. The Primavera with no cheese is the number one seller.
Well, might have to hit you up then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Have a great day. Talk soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.